Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. Today's video is going to be a full in-depth guide to how you can make progress in the game even if you are a lazy Genshin player. I know that Genshin is a very time-consuming game and you might not have all the time in the world to be farming and grinding, but that does not mean you have to compromise your progress. So as a result, I have made you a guide that can possibly help you progress in the game without having to spend countless hours on Genshin. So I hope you find this video helpful, and without further ado, let's get started. First off, I want to wish you all a happy new year and best of luck in the year to come. 2025 is going to be a great year and I am so happy to spend it with you all. With the new year, I have partnered with Sakurako and Tokyo Treat to bring you special surprises for the month of January. And to help me with today's special segment, this is my cat. Say hi to Nemo. Tokyo Treat and Sakurako are both snack subscription boxes with different Japanese goodies to try. Both boxes offer two different sides of Japanese snack culture. Where Tokyo Treat has fun and unique snack items including a limited edition Kit Kat, there's so many flavors to try and you will definitely enjoy tasting these snacks. Sakurako, on the other hand, highlights artisan snacks from the more traditional side, where it includes special teas and even a household item for you to add a bit of Japanese culture to your collection. Every month has a different theme, so I promise you won't run out of unique snack items to try. This month's Tokyo Treat theme is New Year's treatings, with some of the special snacks being the strawberry chocolate cake Kit Kat, Hokkaido smoked butter chips, and a matcha drink. But my most favorite one is the golden kinako mochi, which is basically a burst of sweetness in a singular bite. Some of these snacks are only available for a limited time and are seasonal, so you'll want to grab yours now. Similar to Tokyo Treat, Sakurako's theme is also related to the new year. Celebrate Oshogatsu with Sakurako and try the traditional snacks related to hope, luck, and prosperity, including the New Year Sundae, strawberry taifuku, red and white plum koakuto, and yuzu shiroko biscuits. I have to say, the matcha dorayaki is so delicious. It has just the right of sweetness to it and is a tasty treat. Also, you can enjoy your treats with a delicious cup of tea. This time, it's a yuzu sencha, which balances the sweet and bitterness perfectly. Don't forget about the special tableware item that the box comes with. This time, it's the Nishijin Ori coaster, which you can use for your mug of tea. Or if you don't have a mug, you can put it on your cat. But if you don't have a cat, you probably have a mug. Either way, experience a traditional New Year from Japan from the comfort of your own home with Sakurako's variety of goodies. If all the names of snacks sound confusing, don't worry, because each box comes with a booklet that has a list of all the snacks you get, along with pages about historical and traditional elements to them. Each snack is described and the ingredients are listed, so don't worry about allergies or dietary restrictions. Bring a little luck into the new year and maybe even your future pulls with these New Year treats. And add a little bit of excitement each month when you receive a new box of various snacks. Trust me, it makes a huge difference when you anticipate a little surprise. You can even start collecting the little cards that come with each box, and January is the perfect month to start. You can get your box if you click in the link in the description and use my code AMBER to get a discount upon checkout. Let me know if you do try out the snacks. Thank you Nemo to helping out with this segment, and a huge thanks to Sakurako and Tokyo Treat for sponsoring this video. The first thing I want to say is a little disclaimer. Remember that the amount of hours you put into Genshin farming results in how much stuff you get back in return. So obviously if you're not spending a ton of hours on Genshin and grinding for primo gems or any other rewards for that matter, then you probably won't get the same amount of rewards as someone who does spend all their time on Genshin. But if you are really busy and don't have enough time to spend on Genshin, here are ways that you can still progress without having to spend as much time as you think. I want to start this off by saying that your team comp matters. As you know, there are so many different kinds of team compositions, and also there are so many characters you can use for your main DPS. However, some characters require a lot more effort and thinking when you are playing them, versus some characters where you just put out their skills and they do the damage for you. For example, my Natlan exploration team is Kinich, Mavuika, Zhongli, and Farina. Where Kinich is the main damage dealer, he's the one that's going to be on field for most of the time. However, Kinich's skill requires me to actively be pressing buttons and moving around with Kinich. But if you really don't want to be pressing a lot of buttons and doing a lot of work, if you have a team that has a bunch of skills that can kill the enemies for you, that makes it so much easier. In that case, you would want a team that has a summon or someone that can deal off-field damage. For example, Farina's summons stay on the field even while you switch out characters, and Raiden Shogun's also does deal damage if you do make hits on the enemy. And to make sure that your character does not die while in battle, I have Zhongli's shield up and Kokomi's heals. This might seem like a stretch in terms of laziness, but if you are the type that just does not want to be clicking on Genshin, you can just put out summons and the enemies will die themselves. themselves. I do know that this is a 5-star team and it's not super accessible if you are an early game player or completely free to play. I have been playing for a while now, that's why I've acquired all these characters, but if you are someone who has saved up for other characters and does not have access to these, there are free to play options to the team. If you want, you can replace Zhongli for Noelle, who also has a shield, or if you have Layla, that works too. Also, Fischl and Xiangling both deal off-field damage with Oz and Guoba, and then you have Barbara as a healer. These characters make the game a lot easier to play because you don't have to worry too much about mechanics, and they'll basically deal damage for you, as well as keep you alive for the duration of the game. The lazy teams should make completing stuff a lot easier because you don't have to worry too much about rotations and all that sort of stuff. Like for example, my Hu Tao team that requires me to have to always think about whose burst is going to be active, skill cooldowns, and HP management, as well as timing Hu Tao's skill and burst to make sure that I maximize my damage. Although this might be an efficient team and I can deal a lot of damage in just a few hits, if you are going for maximum laziness, then a team sort of like this would work. This team still does deal damage because I do have Raiden and I can use her burst if I ever need to, and also Zhongli's burst to petrify enemies, and Farina's summons also do quite a bit of damage too. Just have a team in mind if you are running a lazy comp, because this team might make defeating enemies a lot faster and a lot less work. The next step for ultimate laziness. If you are too tired to go out and farm resources but still want to collect them, remember that there are NPCs that do sell regional specialties. The downside to this though is that they don't sell enough to ascend your characters in one go, but you can still pick up just a few of the specialties. Like this store here in Inazuma, they have Nakuid if you don't want to go out and collect them. There are also plenty of other stores like this in all other regions, and hopefully it should save you a lot of time for exploring and having to go out and collect all the resources. Or if you just need a few last minute materials and don't want to go join someone else's world, perhaps the NPC specialties could save the day. I mentioned this before in a video, but there's also an NPC that walks around this path and you can buy Mondstadt specialties, as well as the receptionist in the Wangshu Inn. You can get some resources that are harder to get, and because they do refresh, you can always collect these specialties every single time they do refresh, and then soon enough you will have everything you need. Like this one that sells violet grass, because violet grass is so hard to collect because they're spread out and they're also on cliff sides, and it's just so much easier to go and buy it, and if you buy things over time, you should have enough for later. Along with resource collection, here is a little reminder. If you have it, make sure you apply the seed dispensary. If you're not exactly so sure how this works, it is really simple. If you have equipped the seed dispensary, you can go out and collect a resource. As you can see, it will show up as silk flower seed, but don't worry because once you click on it, you can see that you get both the flower and the seed. This is super helpful because it's a 2-in-1 collection, and then all you need to do is go teleport to the teapot and then plant the seed in the planting area, and all you have to do is wait for it to grow. This is a very lazy method to collecting resources, although it does take quite a bit of time, but if you're just not in the mood for exploring, you can always just plant a seed that is really hard to get and then get it a few days later once it has fully grown. On the topic of the Serenity Pot, remember that you can get resources from the Serenity Pot, and if you are not trust rank 10, please be farming in your teapot so you can maximize your trust rank. This way you can get realm coins, friendship EXP, and also primogems for increasing your trust rank, and once you have access to the realm depot, you can get difficult to find resources such as hero's wit, enhancement ores, or even mora. This will save you a lot of time for exploration, and also you won't have to do ley lines because you don't want to use your resin on those things, and you can save your resin for more important things in the future. And of course, buying everything from the store is so much faster than going out and farming ley lines because you have to go out and teleport to the ley line and then defeat the enemies, and it's such a huge hassle and you kind of just want to avoid it, so buying everything is so much faster. Also remember that every single region has a store like this with a gemstone on it, and if you talk to the person there, you will get the option to browse their items and turn in your sigils for any resources that you might need. Now some of them do sell out, but the mora does not. So once you've gone out and explored chests and you have some sigils to turn in, you can get resources really easily from this. This will save you time from going through domains and sometimes even boss fights in the early game, but it's not a completely lazy-proof method since you will have to go and explore to find the sigils, but it is still a way where you can get resources. The next thing that should be considered is the parametric transformer that is in your backpack. Remember that if you place down the parametric transformer and just trade in a few resources, you will be able to get a bunch of rewards in return. I have covered this in many videos, and honestly it is pretty helpful if you are turning in the right resources, and also if you have a bunch of spare mob drops, then you can save time from going through domains and having to collect everything for weapon ascensions. It's just an efficient way where you can get everything, because all you have to do do is attack it with elemental energy, and it is just really simple to get resources, especially if you have a bunch of useless drops that you won't be planning on using, such as my giant collection of chaos cores or basically anything else that I just don't have a use for at the moment, or my 4,000 hilichurl masks. You can just throw these into the parametric transformer and get resources in return rather than just have them stay in your inventory and just take up space or collect dust. Now onto the topic of resin. So we all know that the way to go is to condense your resin. That just makes artifact runs 2 times faster because you are condensing your resin so that you can spend 40 resin for just the run that equals 20. However, one thing that you need when you're condensing your resin is crystal cores. Now crystal cores are not that hard to farm, but if you really don't want to go out and farm them, make sure that every week you are activating the crystalfly trap. I currently have mine collecting as of now, and all you need to do to use it is just put crystal ores or any sort of ores into your crystalfly trap, and after a week it will give you a bunch of crystal cores in return. Now it isn't necessarily enough crystal cores that will last you the whole week if you condense all your resin, but it is still easy to get some crystal cores if you're not interested in going and collecting them yourself. But it is still important to know which places will get you the fastest crystal cores, and the first one obviously being by the Dawn Winery statue, where you can claim some crystal cores if you go and jump, or if you have Sayu, who will not trigger the crystalflies to run away. That will make crystalfly collection a lot easier too. Also, this domain here in Liyue, the moment that you spawn, there are a ton of crystalflies around you, and you can just go and jump and collect those. I think we figured that Farina is a little too short for this, but you kind of get the point. And then this domain here in Fontaine, these crystalflies are a little bit easier to get because all you have to do is just swim up to them, and it's just a bunch of easy crystalflies that you can add to your collection. Now on to game progress. So as we know, there is a main Archon quest that you will have to complete, and if you do want to watch the story, you can, but as for me, if it is a quest I'm not particularly fond of, or if it's a quest with unvoiced dialogue, I do tend to just skip the dialogue because I want to spend my time doing other things such as exploring and collecting resources. But activating the skip button when you are doing quests is going to be really helpful because you could leave your device for a little while or have something playing in the background such as a movie or YouTube video, or perhaps it might even be this video, but you get the point. If you do activate the skip button, then you have the opportunity to do other things while also watching the quest. If you are looking to spend the least amount of time on Genshin as possible, the good news is that they have created an encounter point system where you don't have to do the commissions and spend all your time doing those, but you can just do a bunch of stuff in Genshin such as collecting chests or using your resin. But the good news is doing events also counts as your encounter points, at least as far as I know. So if you want to log into Genshin and you've already used your resin, or you don't want to use your resin that day, or you don't have enough time to run domains, I recommend doing a bunch of events. This way you are getting primogems as the reward for quests rather than just running domains, and you are spending that time on an event as opposed to in a domain, because as we know, domains are RNG, especially if you are farming artifact domains. You don't want to waste your time farming for bad artifacts, and you would rather spend that precious time on events so that you are getting guaranteed resources such as primogems, EXP, or any other rewards that the events are giving you. And of course, when you are done completing all 4 encounter points, you can just simply claim them and claim your daily commission rewards. This way, all the time you've spent on Genshin is just earning primogems, and also you've prioritized your time on Genshin to earning primogems as opposed to farming for artifacts or farming for weapon essential materials or anything of that sort. It's better to spend your time wisely and get things that really matter rather than things that you cannot control. And I did not know you can sit here. It's actually a pretty nice place. Another thing that I feel like a lot of people forget is that some achievements do exist where you can get primogems really easily. What I mean by that is that we have the co-op achievement series. Now the great thing about that is that there are so many of them to complete. We have 5 to be exact, and all of them do give you rewards, with most of them being 10 primogems. If you do end up completing all these achievements, that's a lot of primogems to get you, and also you get the pretty cool name card as well. But every time that there are more bosses that are being added and more things to complete, if you fight the bosses in co-op, you will get rewards in return. The only thing though is that you have to be there when the boss is defeated. You can't just be AFK and have your friend defeat all the bosses, but if you do just want to stand to the side with your shield up, you could just do that as well while your hardcore friend goes at the boss and does all the damage. This is a super easy way to get a bunch of primogems, and perhaps it might be something that you might have forgotten, but this also does make for a pretty good Genshin and chill night. I'm gonna guess that soon there will be another name card achievement for this, because we do have a bunch of new bosses that have been added, but who knows when we will get that. In the meantime, I recommend you do these achievements now because you might need the primo gems for later. It is also much easier to do achievements with a friend rather than the difficult challenger achievements that require you to fight bosses in a certain manner or need you to fight bosses at a certain point in the battle, and the rewards are not as good as fighting them in co-op, such as defeat Senora without any Crimson Lotus Moths. Yes, it does give you 10 primo gems, but it is so much harder to do this than to just have your friend defeat a boss for you in co-op mode. So in that case, you don't want to miss out on the co-op achievements, especially since they're really easy primo gems to get and don't require as much effort as you think. If you're looking for someone to play Genshin with, I have my Discord server in the link in the description. You might just have someone that has a similar goal as you, and you will be able to quickly clear all the bosses and get the achievements and of course primo gem rewards. Before we wrap this video up, I just want to let you know, remember that there are various game modes in Genshin that you can play and still get rewards for doing it. Like if you're not a fan of combat in Genshin, there is always TCG, and if you're worried that TCG is a waste of time, just remember that it is similar to the Adventurer's Handbook where you can get primo gems as a reward, such as these for completing all the chapters of the TCG book. TCG also has its own achievement category where you can earn a lot of primo gems through this, such as all these 20 primo gems, as well as the ones beforehand, because as you can see these are 3-star ones, which means you do get primo gems before the 20 that are shown, so there are a lot more primo gems in getting achievements than you think. And also it might just be a break from the normal shenanigans that you do every single day, which I have definitely found it to be a breath of fresh air. After fighting in domains and exploring all day, I just love to sit down and play a few rounds of TCG. Let's also not forget that we do have the new music game mode too. I absolutely love this. Some of these songs are so nostalgic, such as the ones from Liyue and Mondstadt, and also you can play soundtracks of your favorite characters. But if you do the tutorial, you can see that you get a bunch of primo gems too, so you don't necessarily have to do everything in the game. You can just do the stuff that is in the tutorial, but just like TCG, there is an achievement name card that you can get for doing it. It might not be as much as TCG, but it is a lot easier than having to do TCG because TCG takes a lot of time, whereas this one, it did only take just about a day for me to do, and to be honest, it is a really fun game mode. I love listening to the old soundtracks because we all know that the music in Genshin is one of the best and is totally worth your time. Ultimately, the way you choose to play Genshin is completely up to you, whether that be super grindy hardcore or if you are a lazy player as well. Whatever you do, as long as you are having fun in the game and you're not stressing yourself out or burning yourself out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Good luck in the new year and good luck in your pulls. I hope you get all the characters that you really wanted and that you win all your 50/50s following this video. Let me know if any of these tips helped, and if you want to request a video, please put it in the comments. Hopefully this video did answer a few questions that some of you might have been asking, but in the meantime, have a wonderful day and I will see you all in our next video. Bye!